Welcome to Promote, Profit, Publish. I'm your host, Juliet Clark, and today we have another one of our authors as a guest, so I'm pretty excited. She's actually this is the second book she's produced with us. So before we get started, I want to remind you to run over to our YouTube channel, Super Brand Publishing. Go over there and subscribe and watch all these people. If you're listening on podcast or you're reading the actual blog that's on my website, jump over to YouTube because you can see all these people in person and you'll see how lovely Nicole looks today. Secondly, don't forget to take our Promote, Profit, Publish quiz. You can find it at www.promoteprofitpublishquiz.com. You wrote the book. Publishing's easy. Promotion is the hardest part. Look at Nicole knows with her second book. Publishing's the hardest part. So go over and find out, are you really ready for this? Have you set aside a budget? Do you know what it takes? What is your end game with all of this? Because the books are not going to be your big money makers. It's what you do with those books and how you present them. So, yay! Our guest today is Nicole Vick. And I'm going to just say like MPH, I have no idea what that is, but she'll tell us, and public health advocate. So I'm sure it has something to do with that. Nicole is a seasoned and respected public health professional who has strong relationships with community-based organizations, academia, and other stakeholders. During her 15 years with the local health department, she has managed public health programs focused on workforce development, health equity, the social determinants of health, and the impacts of institutionalized racism and other forms of oppression on health outcomes. That was so hard to read. Like, dumb it down for me next time, Nicole. Okay. Nicole also has 12 years of experience as an adjunct professor, and she serves on 2 boards. She was most recently appointed to the Board of Public Health Advocates, an organization that challenges the social, political, and economic systems that perpetuate racial, economic, and health disparities. She is also board secretary at Esperanza Community Housing, an organization that works to achieve community development in South Los Angeles. Ms. Vick earned both her Bachelor of Science in Public Policy and Management and Master of Public Health degrees from the University of Southern California. And she's currently in a PhD program, I believe at USC as well, right?
Yeah, I'm crazy like that. It's okay.
I don't know where you find the time. I don't know that I could ever go back to school. So welcome.
Yay, I'm so excited to be here. Oh my gosh, this is exciting.
I'm excited to have you. So your first book, Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson, you shared, oh, look at, she's even got it there. Perfectly prepared. What else would you expect from Nicole? You shared a lot about your background, where you came from. And I found when I read that book before we even published it, really inspiring, because if I had known you back then, I probably would have said, she's done. You would not be the person that I would have imagined today.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I thought the same thing. So, and it's so interesting, as rich of a background as I had, and as much support as I had from my family, that one issue or incident was definitely it could have been a huge derailment of the train, right? And so I'll share, I was pregnant as a teenager. I had gotten all the way through high school, and right before I started college, I got pregnant. And yes, that could have really caused everything to go in a totally different direction. But I guess being who I am, I decided that being pregnant was not an excuse for me, and it wasn't a deterrent. And that in some instances, and people actually don't like when I say this, but I was dumb. I was young and dumb enough to not doubt myself or to count myself out. And in that sense, it actually worked to my benefit. So here I am, 43 with a 24-year-old daughter. We survived. She's here. I'm here. And we're just pushing through and continuing to do the work.
That is amazing. And I love that. I was just dumb enough. We all look back and say we were young and stupid, but you didn't let that stand in your way. And I mean that in the best sort of way.
But really, think about it. with our adult brains, we would have found a million reasons why I can't do this. Well, who's going to take care of the child? Who's going to pay for this? How am I going to do this? Well, I don't have time. And we would have talked. Yep. We talk ourselves out of stuff all the time as adults. And so I think, again, being dumb enough to not even think about those nuances and just say, I'm just going to do it, I'm just going to keep going, really made the difference. Because if I had stopped to think about it, yeah,
it wouldn't have happened. It definitely wouldn't have happened. So you're moving along, you're moving through USC, and then what next? Where did you go next when you finished?
So as I was actually still going there, I guess it did feel like a job. As I was working and raising her and going to school at the same time. But while I was in college at that time, I realized I needed a job, and maybe I didn't really need a job. I was still living at home. My parents were helping me out a lot, but I felt like I needed to start getting, going forward in a career path. And that's how I got introduced into public health. This idea of prevention of disease in communities. And it was really like, wow, there are people that go out into the community and talk about, at the time I was focused on sexually transmitted disease, like, ooh. And so answering hotline calls, mailing condoms to people. And it was just really like, this is really cool. I want to help. When I was in college, I thought I wanted to be a doctor or run a health center, or then I wanted to be a nurse. Then I wanted to do, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I want to help people. And that student job, and I will say forever and ever, please don't ever, as a society, get rid of student jobs, because it exposes people to careers that they may not be familiar with. It really helped me see public health as a viable career option. And I've been here now, I think in the bio it said 15 years. I actually have now since been like 18, close to 20 years working in this field, and have been so fulfilled and so proud of the work that we're doing. So that's like the short version of what happened next. And there, of course, were many twists and turns, relationship issues, self-esteem issues, weight issues, all kinds of things. But all along, those things really help to shape my perception of what public health means in communities. It helps to inform everything that I do. Even now in my doctoral program, I'm like, if this is what a doctorate degree is like, well, besides writing a dissertation, I'm like, this is great, because I get to talk about the connection between my work experience, my lived experience, and what I've learned in my other schooling. And it's just been an amazing experience and journey. So I don't know. I know I'm talking in the bits and pieces, but I'm hoping it's kind of making some sense about really using what your lived experience is as a tool and leverage for your career.
So I have to go back, because I always tell people, like, if you had told me 30 years ago that I would own a publishing company, I would have gone, what? And so did you, because I wove my way through. I worked in publishing, and then I worked in advertising, and then I was a real estate broker. And when I started this company, it all brought it together. Like, I have sales experience. I know how to run a business. I know sales and marketing. I know a publishing company. Was it like that for you? Like, did you know where you wanted to go? Or was it kind of like, okay, I'm here. I'm passionate about it. I don't know. I don't know where it's going. How was it for you?
I think that student professional worker experience in that STD clinic started me there. And another important aspect of it was the people that were working there, the relationships that I fostered, and just people that gave me these wonderful gems of information along the way. That also made a big difference. So yes, I'm at this STD clinic answering the hotline and mailing out condoms, but there's a woman in there that says to me, go back to school, get your master's degree, your salary will double. And I still know this woman 20 something years later, who I spoke to again. Hey, I think I want to get my doctorate. Go back, get your doctorate. Don't give anyone a reason to count you out. Don't let it be because of that. So it's like these women specifically, actually, that really just saw something in me, pulled me to the side and give me these little jewels of information. And the good thing, I guess, about me is I listen, I pay attention. I'm like, when somebody like that says something to me, I'm paying attention to that. And those also were really important in propelling me forward. But no, I had no idea what public health was at the time. I just know I wanted to help people. And once I got in and understood, I'm like, this is where I want to be. And this is how I want to help my people, my community, everybody really, because public health is for everyone. And it led to teaching, right? Now I teach people public health. And the undergrads probably think I'm crazy because I come in there and I'm so like excited and animated. I'm able to take, I don't know if you've been watching Squid Game.
I haven't watched it yet.
I see public health in Squid Game. I just did their midterm and I put 2 questions and an extra credit about the Squid Game in their assignment because I'm like, it's all there. So I see it everywhere. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's just, to me, it's beautiful. And it's above and beyond an organization or an agency. It's a system, it's a structure. And it's just so exciting. So, yeah.
Wow. You're very passionate about this topic. So you released your first book last year. Your next book, which is more of a journal, a reflection. Look, she's so prepared. This is awesome, Nicole. Coming out on the 19th. You can actually buy it. I think this is going to be live the week after, so the book will be live by then. But so why this? What was the impetus for taking this from the book that was your story, helping people into now I want to do something more substantial with it?
You know, when COVID hit, and especially in the work that I do in public health, we are frontline folks. We are just like firefighters. We're not running away from it. We're running towards it. Like, how do we fix this? How do we solve this? So I'm running towards it because that's what we're supposed to do. And then I'm also a human. So I'm also like, what the heck is going on? And then all the other stuff that started to happen that summer with the political unrest in regards to some of the killings that were happening, all had an impact on me. And as much as I love to journal, I had put it away because I was busy. But when all that started to happen, I'm like, how do I make sense of this? How do I deal with and cope with the reality of what I have to do professionally, experiencing it as a human being, like, what is COVID? Am I going to die? You know, what's going on? And then also seeing communities literally break down. And I was like, I want to sit here and envision a world that I think would be best for everyone. And writing was that way of trying to reimagine that and to deal with all of that emotion. And so I decided, well, if writing was helpful to me, perhaps if I take some of the quotes that I find most inspirational and put them in a book and, you know, create a section where people can write, other people could also benefit. The other part of it is that during this time, I'm working from home, and I am still actually working from home. And I was doing these weekly messages. Every Wednesday, I would come and do Wisdom Wednesday, and I would pick a quote that I loved, and I would sometimes go live and do it or record it, however I felt that week. And so I was like, why don't I start with those quotes that really stuck to my heart and use those as the basis for the book? So it really was actually an easy thought for me, like, why not? Why not share? And it's just in line with how I am. I'm like, if I know something that I think you need to know, I'm not going to be like, well, if you give me $30, I'll tell you. I'm going to share. It's just my responsibility to me to share whatever tidbits of knowledge or information that I think would be beneficial and helpful. So, I mean, of course, we're going to sell this book now. It's not going to be free, but
it's $30. No.
Yes, it is actually. I have to pay her.
No, I'm just kidding you. So one of the things that impressed me the most about you when you first came to me was we have so many entrepreneurs that come to us and they have struggling businesses. They don't have a job. They don't have a vision. And you were willing to say, I have this day job. I sort of know where I want to go. I know when I want to retire. and this is the direction I'm going in, and I'm willing to take it slow and be realistic about it.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about just that progression and where you really see all this going when you're finally, hopefully none of your employers are listening, ready to retire?
Hey, I think they already know. I think, the hope and plan. I'm 43. I said, oh, let me see if I can get it just 10 more years. I don't know financially if that's going to make sense, but stranger things have happened. So I'm not going to count that out. I would love to retire at 53, 55 would be great. I don't want to work till 65. I don't. I think that, the next generation, let them come in and do the work and with their new creative ideas, and let me go sit down somewhere. But yes, I can't move fast because the way that my brain moves anyway, I have so many things going on. I understand that I have to take this slowly, and I am thinking bigger picture. So the good thing is for me, I have so many interests, most of them professional, right? I want this doctorate degree so that I can promote as much as I can in my day job. But also, if I want to retire and continue to teach full time, I can still do that. I also am interested in doing things like workforce development for community-based organizations. And I've done that on a small scale already. Like, hey, I got this insight about some of the things that you are working on. Let me help you out. And I think the book and the workbook and the journal work together to work with businesses on developing their staff that may be working in the community and they're not sure how to best address or approach different cultures. And I think it's just a wonderful opportunity to use it as a tool. Like, here you go, I have something to offer you. Here are my services in my area of expertise. But no, I already know this is going to be, it's not a, overnight success. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be able to quit. But again, just going to move slowly, more be deliberate. And I don't know. I understand that also in this moving slowly and deliberately, I am paying my dues, and it can be hard because you see people like, dang, they're doing all this and selling all these books and making all this money. They're on TV. Why not me? I'm cute. I'm bubbly, but it's like, that's okay because I have my own lane and I'm going to work that lane until the lane don't work no more, and then we just gonna switch, right? So I'm excited, and I know that there are other books in my head, so I'm just letting you know that right now.
Great, she's gonna spit one out a year, every 9 months, just like a new baby. No.
I might. I mean, it could happen.
That's really great. So where can we find you if we want to know more about what you're doing, what you're up to? Where can we find you?
You can find me on my website, www.nicoledvick.com. You can find me on social media. I'm really big on Instagram. I'm there quite often, and my Instagram is Nicole D. Vick. I'm actually also really good on LinkedIn. Someone reached out to me randomly and said, I was looking for a speaker, and I just typed in, I think he said he typed in women's empowerment. He said, your stuff popped up, and I was like, what? Mm-hmm. So LinkedIn is a good place to find me as well. I'm not really active, but I have a lot of stuff there. And I do have an author page on Facebook if you're interested as well. I do Facebook Lives once a month. I do a weekly show with my daughter every Sunday. If you just want to see a mom and her adult daughter just be having a great time. She did a facial on me the other day because she's an esthetician. And she called me mature. And I must have looked at her like, who are you? What? Excuse me? So if you want to see that kind of interaction, because we actually are, we are great together. Check us out on Instagram on that as well. But I have so much fun with her and so much fun sharing what I know. I forgot to mention the whole nail care and self-care thing that I have. I have so much stuff in my head.
Tell us about it. We have time. What's the nail care, self-care?
So I think it also kind of goes along with the journal and the whole idea of writing as self-care and then just really trying to process. For me, because my brain is running a million miles an hour, every Sunday is my opportunity to be still. And the best way to be still is to paint your nails because you can't move if your nails are wet. Okay. And so over the years, I've gotten really good at nail art and nail design to the point where I was able, and I think this is another skill of mine, I was able to convince a friend of mine that owns a nonprofit organization focused on parenting. I said, can we do a nail care and self-care class? She was like, sure. I got sponsors to pay for the entire event, invited women in, and we painted nails. And they were like, wow, we talked about affirmations and all sorts of things. And so it was really, really exciting. But that's something else I've been doing, not all the time, but something I want to kind of incorporate as well. So again, I got a lot of stuff going on.
Yes, you do. And I never thought about that. I'm so sloppy doing my own.
I'll teach you if you really want to know.
Well, Nicole, it's been great. And thank you so much for sharing everything that's going on in your life.
Thank you for having me. Yay.